There's Tyrion.
You can do this.
There seems to be a lot more whispers than there are people in here.
Ah, Lady Marjorie. Aren't you looking lovely this evening?
Lord Tyrion. Your Grace? With your permission, allow me to introduce Lady Mira of House Forrester.
Your Grace.
The girl knows her courtesies. Impressive. You may rise.
House Forrester is a northern house loyal to the king.
Are they?
I beg your pardon, Your Grace.
I wasn't talking to you. I want to hear from the girl. Is your family loyal to the king?
Perhaps you should ask the new Lord Forrester.
He's not here, is he? She is.
Yes, Your Grace. To the one true king.
The one true king. Yet she didn't say which. The girl is clever.
She only meant...
I don't care what she meant. I care what she said. I won't stand for impertinence from a girl of the North.
If you would give her the chance to explain...
Perhaps she can explain why the Forresters have been loyal bannermen to House Stark for centuries. A house of traitors.
Yes, Your Grace. They are traitors.
The Starks were your liege lord, yet you name them traitors so easily.
Oh,
Is it
for
any
crying out
wonder you
loud.
were so impertinent
I
to
hate
ask which
this
king
character
deserves
so
your
much.
loyalty? If you
Cersei.
have any loyalty at all.
Yeah, said the
Is your house willing to
woman
swear
who fucks
fealty
her
to
brother.
your new liege lord, Roose Bolton?
I wasn't listening. What'd she say?
Roose Bolton also served the Starks, Your Grace.
And proved his loyalty to the crown by bringing their house to a swift and sudden end.
I wasn't listening to what she said.
Old allegiances are not easily abandoned. But now that the war is over, we must look to rebuild and forge new alliances.
That's
there are
probably
ships
true.
and shields to be built, and Joffrey will need a steady supply of ironwood for his armies. I'm told there are others who would happily serve that purpose,
Yeah,
but I
well.
trust we can rely on House
We
Forrester.
won't need to worry about
Forster
Joffrey for
Ironwood
much longer.
does seem rather unique.
Yes, Your Grace.
It would be a shame to see it fall into the hands of another house. I imagine you'd do almost anything to prevent that from happening, wouldn't you? Ask any Lannister, and they'd do whatever was necessary to save Casterly Rock. It would be unfortunate to see another house lay claim to what's yours.
There are limits, Your Grace.
Perhaps, but not if your house faces potential ruin.
What would you have the girl do, Cersei? It's not as if she fought beside the Starks, wielding a battle axe for the Northern Army.
Thank you, Tyrion. Tyrion's awesome.
Raises an interesting question, I
For the most
suppose.
part.
Can we truly blame those who end up on the wrong side of the war? Our dear Marjorie here was betrothed to Renly Baratheon on the false assumption that he would one day rule the Seven Kingdoms. Can we fault her for her mistake? Should she be held accountable?
I won't judge her, Your Grace. I wasn't there. I didn't face her decisions.
Aren't you a delightful girl? If only one could flit through life without ever holding an opinion of their own.
If there's a point to this, I hope you find it quickly.
Loyalty can be such a hard thing to define.
I'm gonna die,
The
aren't
city
I?
alone is filled with all sorts of ambitious opportunists looking to reinvent themselves, pretending to be something they're not. Who knows what lurks within their hearts? You are a girl from the north, here in service to Lady Marjorie. One can only assume her interests are yours. Yet loyalty to a king, that must be absolute, beyond question. And if your loyalties were to become conflicted between your king and the very person whom you serve, what would you do then?
I'm sure she
Let the
would...
girl answer the question. Go on.
I would be true to the king, Your Grace.
Well said. I was beginning to worry you didn't have your priorities straight.
She is a threat to the crown, isn't she? The most dangerous handmaiden in all of King's Landing.
My sense is this girl will say almost anything to get what she wants.
I'll say
Which is not very
anything to
encouraging.
avoid you killing me.
I'd like a word with you, if I may.
With me or
Of
with...
course, Your
oh,
Grace.
Marjorie, okay.
I'll walk you out.
Thanks.
This may come as a surprise, but I met your father once, at the tourney at Lannisport. Even then he didn't trust Roose Bolton. We only spoke briefly, but your father struck me as an honorable man. You have my condolences for his loss. These would be trying times for your family, even under the best of circumstances.
Thank you, Lord Tyrion. That's very kind of you to say.
That certainly took courage. To so publicly declare your loyalty to Joffrey for all to hear. Poor Lady Marjorie was humiliated, although Cersei seemed quite pleased. It was quite the first impression. I, of course, found it all highly entertaining.
Shit. I remain
No
silent
doubt
by
Lady
accident.
Marjorie will forgive you. Eventually. My sister and I have our differences. She takes great pleasure in her little charades. I take mine in thwarting them. We must find our amusements where we can.
Yeah.
She threatened to give your ironwood to another house. It is the Master of Coin who decides such matters. The
Is that
crown
you yet?
needs boats. Boats need wood, and I speak for the crown in this regard. Not her.
I wouldn't want to anger Cersei.
And you'd be wise not to. But I suppose the crown could be persuaded to secure ironwood from House Forrester. Lady Marjorie might not look favorably on such an alliance, and it would infuriate Cersei. Although what would be amusing for me might prove rather dangerous for you and your house. Are you willing to risk that?
I just said no.
It may be far too dangerous. In fact, forget I even suggested such a thing.
Oh,
It's a
fuck.
risk I'm willing to take, Lord Tyrion.
I didn't.
Please.
Shit.
You are a brave girl, aren't you?
I actually meant to click
I'll
the other
consider
one.
it.
Oh well.
Now, if
least
you'll
it'll piss
excuse
off
me, I
Cersei.
promised Sansa I would join her for dinner tonight. 3 beautiful bottles of Dornish wine await my arrival.
I hope we meet again.
Nothing would make Cersei happier. Until then, be careful. This is not the North. King's Landing can be a nest of vipers to the uninitiated.
Can be. Pretty sure it already is. All the time.
Mira, I was worried. How was it?
I'm fucked.
Cersei has a way of looking at you as though you're nothing.
It didn't go very well.
I'm sorry. Cersei is known for being rather difficult. But at least it's over now. Lady Marjorie has spent the entire day working on seating arrangements for the wedding. Of course, you and I are seated way at the back, here with the 4th cousins and the 9th-born sons. Ah, Sir Jaime. I wouldn't mind tarnishing that white cloak of his.
Sarah!
What? It's true. And Oberyn Martell, the Red Viper.
Is Jamie back yet?
I'm told he has a paramour. Which I doubt is Dornish for wife.
He is quite handsome.
And quite passionate, from what I've heard. Perhaps Lady Marjorie could make the right introductions. Who knows? We might meet our future husbands.
We should probably put those back.
Although, marrying a king, I can only imagine what that would be like. Would you marry Joffrey if it meant you'd become queen?
No.
He does have a certain look about him, and he's always treated Lady Marjorie well.
I'd be willing to marry, but not Joffrey.
Well, I would marry him, Imagine the power you would have as Queen of the Seven Kingdoms. I might even allow you to be my handmaiden.
Gee, thanks.
Let's see, who else should we marry off? Brienne of Tarth and Tyrion Lannister.
Oh, okay, so they are
What a
back.
perfect match. Sir Bronn and...
What are you doing? Well?
I'm sorry, my lady.
As am I. We shouldn't have been messing about.
This is not a game. It's a battle plan. Allies and enemies can be made with every move. Yet they say it is men who are powerful. The Queen was pleased by your display, Mirror.
But it's the women that give birth to
I'm
them,
just glad it's
so
over.
Can't really...
King's Landing can be exhausting sometimes. There's always someone to please or some perceived slight to smooth over. I fear it will only get worse when I am Queen.
Once they know your true heart, the lords and ladies will have no choice but to love you.
Do you agree?
It doesn't matter what you feel. It only matters what you say.
You learn very quickly. Your words to Cersei were brave, but I know you must fear what the Boltons might do to your family. I do appreciate your willingness to appease her, as difficult as it may have been.
Thank you, my lady. There's been something on my mind. Something important.
Of all the places in Game of Thrones,
I did have a favor to ask of you in return.
Whatever you wish to say, you can say it in front of Sarah. There are no secrets between us.
It's about my family.
I trust her. Go on. Ask.
I received a letter from my family. I fear my family will suffer if Ramsay is left to do as he likes. But if a raven could be sent to the Boltons to let them know House Forrester has the protection of the crown. Ramsay Snow will arrive at Ironrath within the week. I would never ask this of you if it weren't so urgent.
of all the places to be in Game of Thrones, King's Landing is the
That
last
is no
place
small
I would
request,
want to be. Unless I was
especially
like
now.
swordsmith
Joffrey
or
knows only
something.
too well your family fought for the Starks. And now you would have me
Blacksmith.
ask him to intervene.
That's the word I was looking
Is
for.
the situation that dire?
You can't, my lady. King Joffrey won't like it. Just think how he turned on Lady Sansa.
My mother feels it is urgent, my lady. She's unfamiliar with King's Landing and its politics. I hope you can understand that.
Very well. I'll make your request, but I cannot promise anything.
Thank you, my lady. I will send a raven to my family at once.